That's exactly how we need to start this today. How about that, right? Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to all of you. Many of the University of Wisconsin's most loyal supporters, members of campus leadership, leaders in our community, members of the athletics department staff, a number of head coaches are here, and a number of Wisconsin Badger football players to my right. We welcome all of you here today. And certainly a welcome to all of you watching and listening as we welcome the 31st head coach at the University of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell. Very shortly, we will hear from Coach Fickell as well as Athletics Director Chris McIntosh. But first, I'd like to open up by introducing someone who I think it's safe to say has been rather busy in her first academic year at this world-class university. She's a national expert on law, forensic science, and evidence, and has earned tremendous respect as an administrator. And also, it just seems to me that she is everywhere on this campus, seemingly at the same time, showing tremendous support for the student athletes and the coaches in every sport this university has to offer. And I believe she has made it very clear that in her first year here, she has fallen in love with the game day environment that exists here at Camp Randall Stadium, all a part of America's best college sports town. Please welcome UW-Madison Chancellor Jennifer Mnookin.
There, thank you so much for that nice introduction. I think everybody else who speaks is going to need to bring the podium a little higher today. I'm really tremendously delighted to be here on what is a very important day for our football program. It's an important day as well for our whole athletic department and the entire University of Wisconsin-Madison, as we have the opportunity to introduce our new football coach, our new head football coach to our community. Much more will be shared about him in a few minutes, but I just want to be among the first to publicly welcome Luke Fickell, his wife Amy, and the entire Fickell family to Madison. 5 of his kids are with us today, and I really want to welcome all of you to Madison and to the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Let's give them a round of applause. Now, I've had a brief chance to meet Coach Fickell and his family, and they're just delightful, and you're going to really enjoy meeting them and being around them as well. And I'm very much looking forward to getting to know them better once they get settled here in Madison. I know they're going to quickly learn, as I have, that this is a truly wonderful community in which to live, as well, of course, as a tremendous university and athletic program. Now, before we go on, I want to take a moment to extend my deepest thanks to Jim Leonard for assuming the interim coaching role and guiding the program with a very steady hand. He is a truly excellent coach and superb defensive coordinator and an all-time great Badger, and he deserves all of our huge gratitude and respect. As an athlete, as a person, let's give him a big round of applause. I also want to extend my deep appreciation for Chris McIntosh, for his leadership of our athletic department, and for his vision, and for his bringing this important search to such a successful and exciting conclusion. I also deeply appreciate Mac's foundational commitment to the well-being of our student athletes across our whole program as we strive for excellence in athletics as well as in academics. So thank you, Mac, for everything you do. Now, here at UW-Madison, we want to be a university that excels at the highest levels and pursues our great ambitions in alignment with our longstanding values. And we want this both as a university and as an athletic department. And doing both of those things is really core to who we are, what we believe in, and what we want to be. I think our announcement today demonstrates our collective commitment to our football program and delivers an exciting and powerful statement about who we are and where we want to go. And Badger football has been consistently successful over the years, but I believe we can build on that excellent foundation to reach even greater heights. And that we can do that with tremendous integrity, that we can do that maintaining a focus on academic success at the same time, and we can do that being good stewards of our resources and caring about our athletes, as students, and as human beings. And that set of values is at its core what I think it means to continue to abide by the Wisconsin way. And that's what we're doing today, and that's what we're going to continue to do. And I'm just incredibly excited about what is going to come next. I look forward to working with Mac, with Coach Fickell, and with the entire athletic department and the leadership team to support their success and the success of our student athletes. And I really can't wait to see what we're going to achieve together. Thank you so much, and on Wisconsin.
There we go. Thank you, Chancellor. Next, I'd like to bring up someone who, to this day, remains a major part of Big Ten football history. A captain on the only team in the history of this proud conference to win the Rose Bowl game in consecutive seasons. A very highly decorated player and an academic All-Big Ten honoree. Chris McIntosh returned to UW-Madison 8 years ago, and as I believe most of you in this room know, took over his current position on July 1st, 2021, as the environment in college athletics took a dramatic turn with the changes going on with NIL and all the rest. That was when he started, July 1st, 2021. Yet with all the changes going on, he is a man who very clearly embraces tradition and all the values that have made UW athletics so successful, while always looking for ways to keep building and continue the pursuit of championships. Please welcome Director of Athletics, Chris McIntosh.
Thank you, Matt. How about a round of applause for the voice of the Badgers? I'd like to thank you all for being here today. It's an exciting day. Since October 2nd, there have been two priorities. Priority number one has been to maximize this season for this team. And it has been an incredibly difficult season for many reasons. I couldn't be more proud of this team for the way that you've pushed through adversity, for the way that you've competed. Thank you. I'm grateful for the approach that our coaching staff took, given incredibly difficult circumstances. Day in and day out, their priority has been to maximize this season for these young men. But lastly, this university, this program, me personally, we owe Coach Leonard a debt of gratitude. Jimmy's standing within our program has grown beyond imagination. He's poured himself into this program as a player, as a position coach, as a defensive coordinator, and as the interim head coach. And for that, we should always and eternally be grateful. The second priority. I said on October 2nd that I owed it to this program to conduct a national search to find the best leader that positions this program for long-term success. There have been so many people that have contributed to this process, the process that leads us here today. And I have many thank yous to share. First and foremost, thank you to Chad Chatlos at Turnkey for assisting in this search. Thank you to my senior staff especially Marcus Sedbury and Craig Hansen. To our campus partners, in particular Rob Kramer, Nancy Lynch, Brian Vaughn, Patrick Sheehan, our athletic board chair Ann Sheehy and faculty rep Pete Miller, and to everyone that helped make this event here today possible. Thank you to UW System President Jay Rothman, our Board of Regents, especially Regent President Karen Walsh, but a most special thank you to Chancellor Mnuchin. Chancellor Mnuchin was there for me every step of the way during this process. You were instrumental in the success of this process, and I'm so grateful for your support. Thank you. And now I'd like to talk about the future. But before I do, the comments I make about the future are meant to stand on their own. It's not about comparison to anyone or to anywhere or to any other era. When I took this job a year and a half ago, I spoke about building something special that we could all be proud of. I spoke about building upon a strong foundation, one that had been built over the course of decades, one that honors our values, one that does it the right way, not necessarily the easy way, but the right way, and one that always puts our student athletes first. We needed to find a person that believed in the same thing, a person that aligned with and could demonstrate their ability to deliver. And I couldn't be more excited about the person we found. I can't wait to partner with Coach Fickell to build upon something special here at Wisconsin, something that we can all be proud of. And now, at an occasion like this, the conventional approach would be for me to read from a list of Coach Fickell's many accomplishments. And I can assure you it is a long list. And while Coach Fickell's accomplishments are incredible, what excites me the most is his approach, his expectation on a day-to-day basis. It's easy to believe that games are won on Saturdays. The reality is games are won by dedication on a daily basis, dedication to preparation on a daily basis. And what struck me most about Coach Fickell is his dedication to a proven process, one that has demonstrated results and success. But his process is not just limited to winning football games. His process teaches young men how to be successful in life, off the field, on the field, in the classroom, now and beyond. Friends, it is time for us to get excited about what the future of Wisconsin football holds. It's time to dedicate ourselves to making those aspirations a reality. Wisconsin is committed to being successful in a changing world, beginning with the way our football program operates, beginning with the construction of facilities and the embracement of opportunities like NIL for our student athletes. But success will require a commitment from all of us. It will require support from all of us. There's no doubt Wisconsin is playing to win, on the field and in the classroom, now and beyond. And for the young men in our program, we believe that this experience can be transformational. Luke Fickell believes the same thing, and that's what I'm most excited about. It's time to get after it now. It's time for us to embrace this opportunity. I appreciate you being here today. I thank you for your continued support on Wisconsin, and now let's open our arms up to Luke and to Amy and to the entire Fickell family. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the 31st head football coach at the University of Wisconsin, Luke Fickell.
I looked a little small of a jersey there. I don't know. I guess I was an athlete in my earlier times. But obviously want to thank everybody for being here as well. This is a special time. This is a special moment. I'm going to start off, obviously, like most people, with a lot of thank yous. Nobody gets up here into this position without a long list of thank yous. There's no way that I could be here, obviously, without an incredible amount of people that I need to thank. And I won't list them all because, obviously, I would forget somebody, but I do want to start off, obviously, with Chancellor Mnuchin and her leadership team. I appreciate what you guys have done and giving me this great opportunity. To President Rothman, I appreciate, obviously, everything that the trust and that he's putting in me, to the Board of Regents, to President Karen Walsh, to the Athletic Board, to Dr. Ann Sheehy, to the faculty rep Pete Miller. Thank you for believing. I know this is, like I told the guys today, a little bit of blind faith. You know, maybe you do a Zoom call or something like that. Maybe they can look some things up, but there is some blind faith involved in what you guys are doing for me, just like I asked these guys over here to have as we continue this and begin this new journey. So thank you for all that, everybody that's been a part of believing and giving me this opportunity. Special thanks, obviously, to Chris. I know this wasn't the easiest thing in the world, and to step outside of a comfort zone and believe in me and figuring that there's some differences and there's some changes, and being open to this. And I believe that this, one of the big reasons why I'm here, not just because of Chris, but in our ability to have a partnership, our ability to find ways in this new evolving landscape and of moving this program, this athletic department, everything that we do forward. And it's got to be a partnership, and there's got to be a relationship, and there's got to be a lot of trust. And I appreciate that from you. Obviously, thank you to my family, to my wife most in particular, that the rock, as we all know, the kind of the strength behind this whole thing that gives me the opportunity to spend so much time with 100 and some 18 to 22-year-olds, and maybe not as much time with the 6 of mine at my house. Thank you for allowing me to chase this dream and this passion that I have of coaching and developing young men. I couldn't do it without you. To all my kids, to my daughter Luca, to Ashton, to Aiden, Lake, and to Lucian, for allowing me to uproot you, start this journey all over again without batting an eye. To my oldest son, who's not here, I appreciate him as well. And it's most difficult sometimes on the family, because real soon here, guys, we'll go to work, and those blinders will go on and just start rolling. And a lot of times there's a lot of others that that don't get the credit they deserve. And I know that this is a family thing for us. Us coming here, us moving here, us uprooting. Just like I told those guys that when they get to know me, we'll create a family. My family will be a part of this, every bit a part of it. And so I appreciate them for giving me this opportunity and allowing me to do this. To the University of Cincinnati, where to President Pinto, to John Cunningham, who were my bosses over the last 6 years, all that they've done for me and given me the opportunity to be standing here today, the support that I needed, the belief as we continued to grow, what it is that we did there. I appreciate them. I thank them. To all the coaches that helped me get here, obviously the coaches at the University of Cincinnati in particular that were assistant coaches, and obviously we had a bunch. That was one of the tougher things, is there was a lot of change and a lot of role through that. But all those guys came in, believed in what it is we're doing, bought into what we were doing, stayed aligned, and give us this opportunity, and me in particular, this opportunity to be where I am. And to really the most important group of all, to the former players that I had. What was it about? I told those guys about 6 hours before I talked to them, I stood in front of a group of guys that I owe everything to. I mean, that's why I'm standing here. I know that there's a lot of people to be thankful for, but there's no way we can do this. I know I couldn't do this without the guys that I had there, and what it is that they did for me and for my family, and for a lot of us. That we all work really hard in this profession, but if you can't get the guys behind you to believe in you, you can't get those guys to do things that they don't even believe they're going to do, then we don't have these opportunities like this. And it's amazing sometimes that those guys do what they do for us, and then there is a lot of change in their life. But we all understand that it's a part of it. I told the team yesterday that change is inevitable, right? There's change in all of our lives. Growth is what's optional, and we have to choose to grow. You know, we have to choose to grow. There's a lot of change in my life as well. And I know that for us in particular, as a group of men together, we're all going to be growing together through this change. And it's never easy. It's never easy, but the things that are easy aren't what last. The things that are easy aren't what going to get us to where we want to go, to get us back to where we deserve and believe we need to be. And as we go through this, we will do this together. And that's what I want them to know more than anything. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than any one coach. You know, this is about a team. This is about a group of men. This is about guys coming together and believing, even through all these changes and different things that are going to happen, that we build something, you know, and we build it together. Because where there's a couple people that reap the rewards of success, you know, it's usually the head coach and the quarterback that are the guys that continue to move on and reap the success, but we know how it really has to happen. And it's got to happen from within. And there's no other way that I know of doing it. And I'm excited about this opportunity as I hope you all can envision and see. I'm not one to stand up here and make bold statements by any means. I'm not one to make outlandish, you know, goals and things that we're going to be able to do. I can promise you this, that I'm gonna get these guys to believe in what it is that we do, buy into the things that we do, the way that which we do them, and it's going to be because they see the trust, respect, and love that I have for them every single day, through the ups, through the downs, through the most difficult times. But that's what it's a part of, and the change is inevitable. The growth is what's optional, and I'm willing to grow. I've met with a lot of these guys today. I felt really good about their ability and their willingness to grow. And for 4 or 5 hours I spent with these guys today, I realized why this place is so special, why they've had incredible success. And not once we didn't go to the weight room. I didn't watch a film. I didn't see a guy make a tackle. I didn't see a guy run a 40-yard dash. I didn't see a guy do a bench press. But I saw a bunch of guys tell me what their heart really felt, what they felt about this place, how they felt about their teammates, what they felt about the locker room, and what success was to them. And I had the greatest relief. I haven't even had a chance to tell my wife. I had the greatest relief of when those guys walked out of knowing that I'm in the right place, I'm with the right group of guys, and I'm excited to go to work. So I appreciate that. I promise you'll get a lot more of me, more than maybe you want at times, but I'm incredibly excited for this opportunity. I'm incredibly excited to get started, and we can't get this thing rolling fast enough. So, Chris, thank you. Everybody, thank you. I appreciate it. On Wisconsin.
Thank you, Coach. We'll hear from both Coach Fickell and Mac in a couple of minutes, but in the meantime, we'd like to direct your attention to the video screens here. We have a message from someone who I think you will recognize. He's rather prominent in the now college football media world, played a little bit back in the day too, but you'll recognize the face, the voice, and someone who knows a little bit about the history of Badger football as well.
When I heard the news that he was heading to Wisconsin, my first thought was, good for Luke. What an opportunity, and good for Wisconsin. To me, Wisconsin fans should be excited for a number of reasons. Keep in mind, Luke was a defensive coordinator at Ohio State for a number of years, won a lot of championships, won the national championship in 2014, understands what it takes to be a winner in the Big Ten. Went to Cincinnati and built that program up to a point where they were a perennial power. Everybody talks about the 2021 year, but you look at these last 3 years, Luke knows what staying power looks like because of the culture that he creates. And I think he really has a great appreciation for that blue-collar approach that Wisconsin has always taken, especially since Alvey took over as a head coach in the early 90s. Luke gets that. He's competed against it, and now he brings his own version into Madison. I think it's a perfect fit. I think the goal for Wisconsin should always be to be a Big Ten champion. I think that's a realistic goal, and I think that Luke Fickell brings that pedigree and that approach with him as a head coach. You combine his attitude, his competitive spirit, and you also look at what Wisconsin's done in the past. Think about the future. USC coming in, UCLA. Who knows who else might be coming into the Big Ten? And who better to steer the Badgers into the future than Luke Fickell and the consistency that I think he'll bring to this program. Hey, Luke and Amy, it's Kirk. I just wanted to say congratulations. I know these are never easy transitions. I know last year was really, really challenging for you guys, and you obviously got through that season, and then this year's a new year, and this is a new opportunity. And I know when you think about these kind of decisions, you obviously think about your family and the kids, and I know this was not easy, but I know at the end of the day, what Madison and the University of Wisconsin has to offer has everything to do with you guys taking this chance. And I just want to congratulate you all on this decision. You're going to a great place. And to the Wisconsin Badger fans, congratulations on getting not just a great coach, but a great family to lead your football program. Wish you guys all the best.
Just waiting on the cue. We'll be right with you. Luke, first, welcome. Is that the nicest thing Kirk Herbstreit has ever said about you, by the way? I got to ask.
Yes. And you said that before, that he might have a little message, and I'm like, oh, you said it might be a roast. I said, well, I've got plenty to come back with. So in case anybody needs, if there's anything more on that tape that rolls a little later, I've got plenty of response.
Got some future reference material here. You touched on it, Coach, in your remarks, but can you maybe expound on it a little bit? What have the last 24, 48 hours in the Fickell family been like?
No, it's difficult, just like these guys. There's an array of emotions, from up to down to, to walking away, to telling kids goodbye, to saying hello, to trying to create new relationships in a short amount of time. It's one right after the other. You get a call from somebody that's, hurting from back home to looking at a guy in there that's hurting because there's been change. And, it's back and forth. And I think this is a part of what our job is. Everybody sees Saturdays, right? Everybody sees it's easy to evaluate the results on a win and a loss, and a guy dropped a pass or a guy made a block, but what you really don't see on an everyday basis is what you really do with 18 to 22-year-olds, how much time is spent that's not just on the football field. And that's why you talk about developing men, that men have to go through some of these situations and have these adverse changes to continue to develop. And guess what? Older men have to go through some of these adverse situations to continue to develop too. So if you're not continuing to develop, then you're probably in the wrong profession.
Mac, I'll turn it to you. When did you first meet Coach Fickell?
If I'm not mistaken, it was October of 1996. A down block on a power to the left side.
Ron Dane, I think. I don't know him, but
Might
I knew
have been.
Ron
I heard
Dane
of
was
him.
running the ball. I didn't know about
I
him
got you.
blocking, but
Needless to say, Coach made quite an impression on me. That was the first time I knew Coach Fickell's name. Then Luke Fickell, the nose tackle. And since time has gone on, obviously, with what Coach has done in his career, it's hard not, if you follow college football, you know the name Coach Fickell, the name Luke Fickell. And he just made an impression on me through the years. And it's unreal that it culminates on this stage in this event with these friends here today.
Matt, can you give us a little bit of the process, a taste of it? I mean, you mentioned you obviously met a few years back, but give us an idea of the process and what struck you about Coach Fickell that gave you the indication that this is the fit.
Yeah, the process, it was a long process and it was thorough. And I was so pleased, I was excited about the interest in this position, in this job, at this place. It just speaks to, as Coach mentioned earlier, the people we have around our program, the history we have, the foundation that had been built. And
it was impressive to be able to talk to such accomplished candidates, people that had experienced success at other places. But it was upon talking to Luke, and it wasn't necessarily talking about the X's and O's. It wasn't talking about what practice is going to be like. It was talking about what's important, what he values, what his priorities are, and that it became clear. Obviously, there's a fit here in the style of football and the system that coach is going to run. But for me, it's so much more than that. As he mentioned, it's the development of young men, of people in the short term and in the long term. It's a belief in education and that our players can come here and compete for championships on an unbelievable stage, but then position themselves for success in life with a degree from a world-class institution. It was all those things. It was his values, and frankly, it was his belief and his priority and his family as well that just created such alignment with what we were looking for.
Sounds like lockstep, but I want to get your perspective of it as well, Luke. I mean, you're at a great program, University of Cincinnati. It's rolling. What makes Wisconsin the right place for you now?
Well, I think the now thing is a big deal, and I've always been a fan from afar. And whether it was playing against them since my time of college or coaching against them, you know, there's some similarities that from afar you just know that, wow, that's at times you don't like them because they're too similar to what you are and maybe better at what you want to be than you are. And so I've always kind of viewed that and envisioned that, you know, even as I was playing and getting into coaching. And then obviously you get into doing what you do and your blinders are on and you always are kind of saying, okay, I love what I'm doing. I love where I'm at. I don't need anything different. But when those opportunities come up that you've kind of put on the side to say, okay, if this thing ever happened and this ever came up, this is something that we really need to visit about as a family. And that's always been what Wisconsin was to us. And we try not to talk about it during a season because there's so much stuff going on. But in the last few years in the off season, my wife and I have been able to kind of say, okay, let's take a little time here. And if this thing continues to go and things happen, what are the things that we've got to make sure that we do to check on to see if it's right for our family? And Wisconsin always fit in there, and it just happened to be that unique opportunity and situation and time that things get aligned. And I think for me, that was even one of those signs that, oof, this is something special.
We turned back the clock a moment ago. I want to do it again. Mac mentioned the 1996 game, which I believe was at Ohio State. You would have played here a couple of times at Camp Randall. What do you remember from that experience, the atmosphere, and then those big dudes on the offensive line you were up against?
Well, I can't say about some of those big dudes in the offensive line and some of the things that maybe were transpired at that time, but I do remember the Joe Panoses and those guys of the world that he was still young, so I don't know that I knew his name quite as well. He's obviously, that was a couple years later. But I just know that it was such a tough, hard-nosed fight. There was never any, the thing that's unique is when you play that kind of game, there's never, it's such a respect for one another. And that's what I remember. And whether it was a competitive game, whether it was, you know, a rivalry game, whether it was, you know, a game that meant for the Big Ten championship back in the day when they didn't have a playoff game or a championship game, that it was such a well-fought game that you had such respect for one another. And that's where I developed that respect. And I remember playing in Camp Brown. It was never fun. So I'm really excited about being on the other side when the jump around and things start to go. And, you know, and the guys up, and then when I was a coach and being up in the press box and that thing starts swaying, I'm like, whoa, God, is you sure this thing's okay? I didn't sign a waiver before I came up here. I mean, this is out of control. So all those things are what have gone through my head. It had nothing to do with taking the job. Those guys over there, of what I remember, is what's the biggest thing about taking the job. But, you know, just the atmosphere and the things that what college football really is you know, what I'm really excited about.
Get into the changing landscape, but when I'm looking up Coach Fickell, his background a little bit, and then confirming stuff with Mac, did you know, fun fact time, both of these guys played 50 consecutive games in their respective programs. Both are Rose Bowl champions. Both earned academic All-Big Ten recognition. And both are state champion high school wrestlers. Coach Fickell, there you go. You guys related? Coach Fickell went, I believe, 106-0, Coach Bono. Just so you know, Coach Reeder. You guys, you're not related, right? You know, it's almost like you're brothers here. But I guess my point in this, as much as the landscape is changing, it seems like your values of how you view the game and the toughness, the physicality, that seems to be very much in alignment.
I think a lot of people out there want to believe that the game has changed. The game hasn't changed. The game is still about the guys up front. It's still where it begins and where it ends. And whether we sugarcoat it or do a bunch of different things and you know all different offense and things, the game hasn't changed. Just like I don't believe the young men have changed. I mean, you know, what we expect of them, what we push them to do, since I've gotten into this hasn't changed. Now, a lot of the periphery, obviously, maybe the crowds and the different things, the new world things, but I think the game itself, the values that it, teaches you, the values that it develops in you, hasn't changed since I began playing the game, since I've coached the game, and I don't think it'll change as long as I'm coaching the game. You know, whether it looks different from afar, whether how fast teams go or how many wideouts or how many different people they put out there on the field of some sorts. It's really what it comes down to are the fundamentals of things, just like it is in life.
Yeah, no, very, very well said. What has changed, and I mentioned it in Mac's introduction, which I probably didn't, you all knew that, with the world of name, image, and likeness and everything else. I'd like to get both of your viewpoints on the importance of it, what it means to you for athletics, but obviously specifically football moving forward. Mac, we'll maybe start with you on that.
Yeah, absolutely. For a long time, there's been a history here at the University of Wisconsin in our department of fully supporting what's permissible to our student athletes, and NIL is the newest development in that arena, and we have taken the approach to embrace it. I think it's been a healthy thing for our student athletes, for our players, the players that are here. It'll be something that we'll continue to embrace, we'll continue to emphasize, that we'll continue to endorse. I'm blessed here, we're blessed here to have some of our most trusted supporters behind the Varsity Collective, which plays an important role in providing NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Some of our most trusted people that have the best interests of our student athletes at heart. And I think it's something that at the University of Wisconsin we can compete in and we can be strong in. It's a facet, it's a part of this whole experience. It's not the most important part. It's not the lead, but it's a part of a holistic experience at the University of Wisconsin.
I think when it began, I think the vision was completely different. I think that we all know what the vision was when we began, that, basically a lot of the guys that were very recognizable were able to make, money and things off of their name, image, and likeness based on how they play. I think what we've realized and what we've developed is something that's better for the entire program and every guy within it. We all know there's going to be opportunities for those guys that, are different on Saturday, have a unique name, image, and likeness based on the way that which they play. But I think what we've grown to and what I believe in is it's a way to take care of your whole program. Every guy in there that doesn't maybe shine on Saturday, that doesn't get the ball on Saturday, doesn't score a touchdown or doesn't make a tackle or a sack, is still working every day of the week. And they're a big part of making those guys out there that are on the field successful. Whether they're young and their time hasn't come for them to be on the field, they still have an opportunity to be able to grow and take advantage for all their hard work. And I think that's where I believe that it's so uniquely different. The way that I want to continue to use it is to provide for the whole entire program, because they all deserve something, and we all believe that.
Facilities, the next big topic. We're in a jewel right now. The renovation at Camp Randall Stadium. This is, if I said awesome, that's not good enough. It's better than that. There are things that are out there, and Mac, again, we'll start with you. Clearly, the McLean Center and the Shell have served the purpose, without question. Clearly, you're looking to ramp it up, I guess, for lack of a better term. Tell us about that, the importance of it, why it needs to happen. Again, we'll give both of you that question, the vital importance of facilities. And Mac, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it, Matt. The McLean Center has served us well for many decades. But it's time for us to commit to and put the resources into a proper indoor training facility for our team. And that process has begun. It's been fully supported by the university, by campus, by system, and It's before our partners in the state legislature right now. And, I think I've received incredibly positive feedback from the plan we put forward. It will fit with our culture, with our approach. It will fit in just fine, and it'll help us be positioned for success in the future.
Coach, your thoughts on that, the importance of having as fine a facilities as you possibly can?
Well, I think it's important to show the guys that do the work that there's progress, and what it is that they do, they can see that progress happening. And I really do think that's important. I know that they will look at me and they'll come over to my house and they'll be like, wow, you guys are building more and you're doing more. Yeah, the more success that they have has created better opportunities for me. And I think in return, well, I always want to show these guys how what it is that they're doing is allowing us to continue to move the program forward by, continuing to build, continue to upgrade all the things based on what it is and the performances that they've done. And some would say, well, now that's gone the new world. You don't have to have it. You just got to go this NIL world. And I don't think so. I think it's a constant ability to continue to show them. We expect them to continue to grow and get better and better and better. And in return, we want to continue to do the same thing for their team and for their program.
I guess I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about, the near future here. These guys have earned the right to play in a bowl game for the 21st consecutive year, the longest streak in the Big Ten. They've earned it. Coach, your thoughts on your approach here with this team in the coming weeks?
Well, I sat down with Jim yesterday for a good while, and we're trying to kind of map out how this whole thing would look. I was unique to have been through one of these kind of processes in 2011 and learned a lot from it. I don't think that we want to go the route that which we did, and that's why you do it sometimes, and you take your experiences and learn from it. So I don't know that we know exactly. I told these guys today, we don't know exactly what that will look like in moving in the next 3 weeks, but I promised them this, that I'll be a part of it. I'll be coaching in some way, shape, or form. We'll figure out what that means. If that means I'm coaching the punters, or if that means I'm coaching the nose guards, I'm going to be around these guys. I'm going to have the ability to coach them, to get to know them, to start to build that trust, respect, and love that I think is so critical for our future.
There you go. That's good. Very, very good to hear. To close this off here, and we mentioned, Coach, we asked you about your first time playing here. You've got a lot of very loyal supporters of this university in the room. I know it's been a whirlwind here the last couple of days, but I would imagine that you were kind of checking out, doing, what's Wisconsin all about? Have you gotten a feel of the fan base, the community support, and how important Badger football is? I know it's been, you're a long timer here now, almost 24 hours, but you're familiar with the Big Ten. You have an idea here, don't you?
I got a pretty good idea. I've had some family members that traveled to some of those games that that we played here, and kind of gave me a little bit more of a reference to how it is. And so I'm glad to be on the other side of that, and they'll be much happier to come to the games now, knowing that they're on that side of things. But that experience that I don't know everything. That's what I'm so excited about, is to be around, to be on campus, to even to visit and to go to some of the other games, whether it's I can't wait to get to the wrestling match. I can't wait to get to a volleyball game. Those are the things that I want to be able to embrace. Some of the things that, maybe in the last 6 years I haven't had that opportunity because we haven't had it. That's what's unique about the Big Ten. So to me, that's, in the next 5 months, maybe not having my whole family here as they find their way here. I'll have a lot of those times to really embrace all of what Wisconsin is, all of Madison, to take it in and to make sure that I understand a lot more about this place and just what's going on inside the football.
Final thought, Mac, how excited are you looking forward to the future here of Badger football?
I couldn't be more excited. The future is bright, and couldn't be more thrilled to have Luke here at the helm. Couldn't be more excited. Couldn't be more excited for our team here today, for our fans, and for this university to continue to represent this university. It's been said, athletics is the front porch of this university, and couldn't be more excited about the guy we have to lead our program and to lead our almost 80,000 people in Camp Randall to success and to championships.
Coach, to you, your family, welcome. I'll just tell you right now, you're going to love it here. So congratulations and all the best. Luke Fickell, everybody, thank you. We thank you very much on Wisconsin.
Cut you off.
Nice and sweet.